Hello everyone, I am Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Geneforge 2, what will likely be the last episode. Because while we have completed all that was needed, while we have destroyed the Geneforge and stopped the leaders of the Takers, and while we have stopped the research of the Barzites, and helped the Awakened provide whatever they had to do in order to stay safe, there is still one more thing I wish to do. Speak with anyone about the Awakened, and they would tell you they are not a threat, or we don't have to worry about them, you can leave them be. Or basically speak with any of them. The Shapers see no threat from the Awakened. They are no problem. And the Takers are similar to them. The Takers themselves, the Awakened, see them similar to them. Just a bit more extremist. And the Shapers, say what you want, they are the Shapers, and even though the Takers do wish to slaughter them, the Awakened wish to deal with them. But the Takers, the Awakened, the Shapers, all of them agree. The Barzites, they have been doing great damage. And I agree. The Barzites have been doing terrible things. They have been giving great power to everyone, regardless of whether they are kind or mad. And even then, it can turn the kind into the mad. We may have stopped their research, but their leader, Barzal, he still lives. And I cannot allow that. I am going to storm the City of Rising. And I am going to kill Barzal. He will not be allowed to spread his madness. He will not be allowed to do anything to damage the peace I am going to try to broker with the Awakened between them and the Shapers. Barzal will die. And already the City of Rising is angry at us. But I have a plan to make it easier for us. It will be rough. It will not be easy, and we will have to run quite a distance to get there. But we will deactivate what little control they have over their guards. And then, in all the chaos, Barzal will die. Let's put on some speed spores and immediately get going to where we need to go. I know where the controls are, and that is where we need to get. Come. Ah! Battle Alpha is coming. Ah! Enough of that. You will pay, guard. One of your foes raises his hand, points at one of your group, and concentrates. The persistent buzzing sound emitted by the brass posts gets louder. The target of this strange attack sways, unsteady on its feet. The magical field that hangs over Barzal Rising seems to have the ability to cloud the minds of intruders. This is not good news for you. Our Battle Alpha, Gotson the Fifth, is dazed. That is worrying. That guard is going to die very soon. And our Battle Alpha, Gotson, is terrified. That guard is slain. Now we must kill the other. Another guard approaches. Fine, attack me. That guard is slain. This one is named, is it not? Selithra! Well, Selithra is now dead. Come, we still have much to do. Ah! Another Battle Alpha, eh? Well, that Battle Alpha is now dead, and our speed has worn off. That was a good start. But it's not over yet. Come, we still have more to do. We are almost there. Through here. There. Corin is slain. Now come, this way. Creation control. Not allowed use of control is punished by immediate death. Alright then. Oh, hello. Shingle is dead. This room is filled with magical machinery. You've never seen any devices like these before. There are several machines in the room drawing power from conduits along the floor. They then send the power into other conduits, which disappear under the east wall. Though you're not sure exactly how this stuff works, it must have something to do with the brass posts and their magical vibrations that control the creations in this town. Excuse me. This pillar is full of machinery. It seems to be controlling the power that flows from the crystals into the conduits, and from there into the ground. It emits the same low buzzing sound that seems to be affecting the creations here. The controls aren't labeled. The magical device they control seems to be very powerful, and parts of it are exposed to the air, able to disgorge energy if something goes wrong. You swing your weapon at the delicate machinery. It strikes an invisible barrier. Lightning lashes out, searing you. Very well then. We have to find a way to disable this. Probably in here. Ah, hello. This is a fairly simple shaper control pedestal. You aren't sure what it does. Its fleshy parts pulse and twitch, and fibers of crystal emerge from it and disappear into the floor and walls. You can't see any sort of buttons or switches or way to make it work. Try to find and use the controls. You prod the fleshy bits of the control panel. It wiggles and makes irritated squeaking noises. You keep poking at it, quickly trying to figure out how it works. Eventually, you prod the right place. A bark-like bit of skin lifts up, revealing a fleshy nub. Press the nub. You jab the nub with your thumbs. The control panel squeaks sadly. You hear sparks and smell ozone briefly. There's no immediate effect. Most likely, it disabled this. Smash the controls. You swing your weapon at the delicate machinery. The blow connects, snapping crystals and sending the energy contained within out of control. Lightning flashes out in all directions. That must have disabled their control of the creations. I imagine they would probably start fighting each other now. Or at the very least, we don't have to worry. Huh! He survived. Or she survived. But not for long. We'll have to take care of all the guards around this place first, before we go for, well, you know. Hello. I'm surprised. They don't seem to be going for us. Ah! No! They are! They're fighting each other! I can see the battle logs showing up here. Hello. Tronknan. Yes, the guards are fighting now. Stay back, just in case. Ha! Awesome! You see that? That's what happens! This is what you get! All you needed was a little loss of control. And with that... Take that. You have lost all control of your creations. All ability to hold control. With this, Barzites, you realize the foolishness and the stupidity of what you have done. I'll let the merchants live. They are simple merchants. They are not overly powerful. They can live. They have no problems. But the rest... all the rest of the guards will die. They have to. Otherwise, we would have a lot of trouble. Another guard. Very well. We'll kill the guards in the barracks. Another guard. You two can take care of that battle, Alpha. I'll take care of this guard. Ah, there's another guard in there. Alright then. And there's another. I may be enjoying this a little too much, but quite frankly, these Barzites had to die. Nothing of value in that. Nothing we need from there. There's probably nothing we need in any of these. Oh yes, and actually it'll probably be easier to kill Barzal because his super strong guardian friend has been slain. And it was completely fair. Now then, let us prepare. Oh wait, he's already out! Barzal is here! Very well, Barzal. Prepare to die. Ah! Barzal, you are trapped within, and you will die! You will pay for what you have done! You will pay. Observe, Barzal. You will die by my blade. And thus Barzal is slain, and the Barzites are stopped. No more will the Barzites have to worry. No more will any have to worry about the Barzites. He managed to stop this little war. 3 of his creations attacked him. If only we had shown up sooner. I wish we could have seen it. It would have been beautiful. But alas. Let's take a look at his quarters. Ah, we don't have the key. I guess we can't. Maybe we can go in through back here. Either way. We have slain all the guards, and Barzal himself is dead. There's no way into the Barzite quarters now. We have done all that is needed. Let us go heal, and then we shall leave. For all this, it is all, at last, finished. As we walk back through the valley through which we entered, all that we have done. Our mentor Shanti was slain, but we avenged her and slaughtered her killer in fair combat, in a fair duel. We have assisted the Awakened in completing their Barrier of the Winds. Hopefully it will be enough to protect them from the wrath of the Shapers. We have slaughtered the leadership of the Takers. Akat, Rakus, Ias. Hopefully with all that was done, the Takers will be less of a threat, although they will probably still remain angry. And the Barzites. Their research has been destroyed, and though it was not asked, their leader Barzal has been slain by our own hand. They were too dangerous to be left. There's nothing else left for us. Now we shall act as diplomat and assist the Awakened as best we can. You stand on the road leading out of these mountains. It is but a 3 days' walk to the next city, and a quick, easy journey from there to the Shaper Council. You have done much in these mountains. Is it time for you to leave? Yes. Return to the Shaper Council. You decide that you have done all that you can here. It is time. You start to walk down the path, heading home. At long last, your work in these mountains is done. You begin the long walk back to the Shaper Council. Your feet are sore and your clothes are torn, but you have gained both strength and knowledge. You travel swiftly and without difficulty. You stay at several villages along the way. Of course, the people there know enough to not disturb a Shaper on official business. They give you room and board and supplies for your journey. As you travel and spend more time around ordinary, unaltered people, you feel strangely refreshed. After your time in those strange cities where everyone was mutated and none of the laws you grew up with were obeyed, it feels good to be in a place that feels normal. Finally, after several weeks, you reach the capital. The guards at the gate were expecting your return. After only a short break to rest, bathe, and eat, you are taken to the Shaper Council. At last you come before the Shaper Council. The 9 old men and women there are very strong, to be sure, but they seem old and scared to you now. They are powerful, true, but there is greater power out there, and they must learn of it. Before, they filled you with feelings of awe. You spent many years dreaming of being able to walk among them as an equal. Now, at last, you feel like you can. Once you wanted to fight and struggle in the name of the Shapers. Then you were exposed to new ideas. You questioned your path and your beliefs. Now, at last, it is time to challenge the Council. They ask questions and you begin your story. You start by telling them what happened to Shanti, Zachary, and Barzal, and of the illegal shaping that has been taking place without their knowledge. You speak of the forests and swamps and the new wildlife. You are surprised to find that they don't seem very concerned. Unhappy, yes. Irritated, yes. But they are an arrogant lot. They don't seem to feel the presence of any threat. Before you can continue your tale, they stop you. They begin to ask you questions, not letting you continue until they are answered. They ask what happened to Shanti. You tell them that you found out that she was killed. They ask if you found her killer. You say that you did and that you avenged her death. They are pleased. They ask if you contacted Zachary. You describe your meeting with him. They are very displeased with him. They ask if you contacted Barzal. You describe your meeting with him. You also describe how you killed him. They are pleased. Once their questions are asked, they allow you to resume your story. You quickly get to the heart of the matter. Now that the formalities are over and the Shaper Council finally lets you continue, you proceed to alarm them. You tell them about the Awakened. You describe the new force in the mountains led by Learned Pinner. You describe this proud new force of intelligent, independent serviles determined to be treated fairly and as equals. Then, to remove the smug smiles from the faces of the Shaper Council, you also describe the Barrier of the Winds. You tell them what a Drakon is and how effective one can be at defending a mountain pass. Soon the Council decides they have had enough. You are seized and jailed. They inform you that your trial and death sentence will be given shortly. As you are dragged out, you hear them already beginning to plan a military campaign. You spend several months in jail. It's a miserable time. You are in solitary confinement. The water is bitter and the bread has bugs. You pass the time making tiny creations and playing with them. You are completely alone. Nobody comes, not even to kill you. It is dark. Then one day some guards come for you. You are brought out into the blinding sunlight. Strangely, they have not come to execute you, but to release you. It is a prisoner exchange. You are being traded for a captured agent. You are put in a cart, and a few days later you are back in the mountains. The reception you receive in the now much larger town of Madab is a jubilant one. You are told what happened in your absence. A small Shaper army arrived in the village of Dry Peak, which had been almost abandoned. Zachary met them and meekly submitted to his execution. While the Shapers prepared their assault, the Awakened dealt with the Barzites. Though Barzal was dead, the canister-maddened people of Rising refused to submit. The Awakened sent a pack of Drakons from the Barrier of Winds on a night raid. This display of power was enough. Rising surrendered to Madab. The canister works were shut down. The Radiant College was stripped for parts. The two now united cities prepared to march on Zasus. When they got to Zasus, they found empty buildings. The Serviles and Drakes had fled, seeing what was coming. Only the Drakons were left. They put up a tough fight, but they died, and that left the Shapers. The first small, careless groups of warriors and guardians fell to quick, sharp Drakon assaults. Reinforcements were sent for. The Shapers grew cautious. But mountains are easy to defend, especially when you have over 120-foot-tall, fire-breathing Drakons. As the bodies piled up and Shapers were captured, the Councilors came to realize something. The rebels could not only make creations, they were good at it. The existence of the Drakon was a blow to the Shaper worldview, one the Council could not face. They sued for peace, ready to withdraw and face this new world. Prisoners were exchanged, and you returned to your new home. The Council did not give up, of course. They kept returning with larger forces. You fought at the side of the Awakened. It was a true struggle, but their skill increased with every battle. It was a hard life. There were very few of your own kind. You grew lonely. The few Shapers in the mountains had been modified by canisters and were too arrogant for comfort. The war was constant. The Shaper Council could not let independent creations exist. It was a challenge to the entire world they had created. They had kept losing people to the tall, hostile mountains and their Drakon defenders, and yet they kept coming. You lived in a frontier town, apart from the food, the learning, and the culture that made up Shaper life. Sometimes you thought of your youth in the city, and you almost expired of boredom. And yet, you persevered. No matter how difficult things got, you remembered one thing. You had the choice, and you chose justice. You saw that the path of the Shapers was wrong, and you gave up everything to resist. It is a hard life, but it is the right one. You are proud, and you carry on. Meanwhile, in the abandoned Taker Warrens, dusty and forgotten, something remains. Behind a locked and warded stone door, unnoticed, something waits. Battles rage. Time passes. And it grows. And thus ends the story of the Dry Peak Mountains and the Dry Peak Valley. That is the story. Or at least my story. Yours, should you try it, would probably end up very different. You might join the Barzites for power. You might join the Shapers for order. You might join the Takers for freedom. You might just kill everyone. But one thing is certain. That door will remain locked. And something behind it will soon burst forth. And that will be what causes the events of Geneforge 3, 4, and 5. The events of Susia Island were certainly quite an event. However, it was only the start, and what was found there is what spawned this, and what spawned what is to come. You cannot unring a bell. I am Chessrook44. This has been Geneforge 2, and I will see you next time in Geneforge 3, when the war begins.